This is Dan from Vagabond Awake.
𝗔 from Hobo Venture.
And today we want to talk about the best places to get a soft landing when you first move overseas.
Mm-hmm.
You see, when you go on vacation, and you've probably done it before, maybe you've been overseas already, when you go somewhere for a week or two, the frustrations don't really add up about the language, food, the things that are different, and you feel a little uncomfortable because you don't know how to do things when you first go to a foreign country. That won't add up because you know you're going home in a week or two. So in the back of your mind, you don't really get that frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
But when you move overseas, you're there indefinitely. And so those frustrations add up and they start to get you. And you might fly home early, and you'll decide this isn't for me. And so you might miss the best thing that ever happened in your life.
Yeah, I agree about this because when you arrive in a new country, you will worry about too much of things. So you're not sure the country is good for you. But what we did here is just let you know the best place for you to go for a soft landing, but it's not 100%. You have to go there, feel it by yourself.
Exactly. There's no 100% soft landing, is
No.
there? Now, once you've had your soft landing, and you'll be the judge of that. It might be a month, 2 months, 3 months. It might be 6 months. But once you really start to feel like you have your overseas living legs firmly under you, then you'll be able to go to places that are a little more challenging. And the second time that you move, it won't be so hard, whether it's to another city in the same country or whether it's to a whole nother country. And so the beauty of the soft landing is it kind of orients you to this whole concept, and then after that it gets easier and easier and easier every year. So I have a definition for you I'm going to read, if that's okay. A soft landing places overseas. A soft landing place overseas is a location where a foreigner from a specific country who has never lived long-term overseas before will feel enough cultural similarities to their home country, such as comfort foods, language, music, sports, dating rituals, transportation, and other social nuances, so they have fewer moment-by-moment frustrations and are more easily able to adapt to their first experience of living long-term overseas. And because it's different for each foreigner, because their home country might be different, what is a soft landing for me may not be for you.
Yeah.
Depends on a number of factors. So.
And also that's a soft landing for a woman and soft landing for men. It's totally different thing also because that, women will be think more and men just don't care sometimes, right?
Well, I'm sure we care, but we probably worry about different things.
You worry about tonight whether I have enough money for beer or not, right?
The truth is, once you have your living overseas international legs under you, you might enjoy hard landings more than soft landings after that. Because you learn more when you go to a place that's more culturally dissimilar for you. And it really feels more like an adventure in some ways. And so there's nothing wrong with hard landings. We're just trying to get your overseas legs under you before you get frustrated and go home. Okay, so now we would just want to give you some quick examples of things that are going to be sources of frustration, and that's how we're picking the places that are soft landing that we're about to share with you. Chung and I don't have the same ones, but we'll share what we think are a soft landing for you. Okay, the first frustration you're going to have is for language. If you only speak one language and you're going overseas for the first time, it can be quite frustrating. You'll be using Google Translate and various tools to try to figure out how to talk to people or figure out what the map means and all this sort of thing. That can be frustrating. And so the first thing is a soft landing is a place where there's going to be expats there that speak the same language as you and can teach you things like where to shop for whatever, shampoo or groceries, or how to go, the fun bars, or how to, best beaches, all that stuff. And so a soft landing is a place that will have expats for you.
Yeah, and also that they will teach you what is a local word they use for, like a McDonald's, KFC. Different countries have a different word for that, or the food they used to eat, like avocado, maybe in other country they call other names. So there's a lot of differences for that.
Right. And the other part of language is that for it to be a soft landing, a good percentage of the locals, at least in the domain of the soft landing, which might be a city or a neighborhood, at least like 30 to 40% of them should speak at least vacation level English, so that when you're bopping about and you're at a grocery store or whatever, since you don't really know the language yet, maybe they'll understand what you're trying to ask for. And so you have expats there to teach you, and you have at least some locals that speak English. The second thing is you need a place that has your comfort foods. Those are whatever you're used to eating at home. You know, when you need a comfort, maybe it's a burger for you, or pizza, or Italian food, or peanut butter and jelly sandwich, macaroni and cheese, whatever you eat at home, that's your comfort food, that your kind of go-to food. And you need to have that potentially in restaurants there that you can eat at, and also in the grocery stores. You need to be able to walk in a grocery store and see brands that you recognize from your life in your home country.
Then you will have a feeling that you have something similar to your thing.
Yeah.
In your home country will give you a feeling of security.
Yeah, exactly. So it just it's like putting on a warm coat when you have foods you can eat whenever you're hungry, and you're not always trying to figure out what the local food is. The next thing is accommodations. When you first move overseas, you're used to a certain standard in accommodations. And so your first destination or your soft landing should be a place that has apartments or a house or whatever you're used to that you can rent. We do retire cheap countries, so it'll probably be less than your home country, so you'll save some money, but not as much money as you'll be able to later when you're willing to live more like a local once you're ready for some hard landings. And so you want a place that has, you want hot water, and you want air conditioning, and you want to have furniture around you that you're comfortable with, and all that sort of thing.
And you also want a place that you can walk out and you can easy to reach to any place like restaurant, grocery, and people, you don't feel isolating.
Absolutely. And that's why we usually recommend city centers, walkable areas of town in our reports to stay in. Next thing is, you'll feel more comfortable if you do have some cultural references like music, sports, television shows when you turn on the TV, clothes that you can buy in stores. And so entertainment-wise, that's what I'm talking about. And there's two more left. One is socializing, and the other is transportation. So with socializing, you want to be able to get into those routines you do. Maybe you go to a neighborhood bar where you watch sports, have a burger and some fries, and talk to people about whatever's going on in the playoffs and that kind of thing. If you have that when you first get to a country, then all of the other things that are different won't be so difficult for you to deal with, because you have that feeling. A part of your life at least feels comforting. And the other part is transportation. When you need to go across town or whatever, you want to be in a soft landing place, which is like they have the Uber or the Grab or one of these taxi apps where you just put in there where you want to go. The taxi picks you up. You don't have to negotiate the price, and you don't have to explain to the driver, who may not understand your accent, where it is you want to go. On the app, they see where to take you, and they know how much they're going to be paid, and you know how much your credit card's going to be billed when they drop you off there. And so those are the main factors that we look for that'll help you get a soft landing. Chung and I have compiled a list of places that we think are soft landings that we're recommending, and that's what we want to do now, is talk about some of these places. And we're going to cover them by country, and we'll have a city or two in each one. We're going to talk about Mexico, Philippines, Portugal, Thailand, Malaysia, Guatemala, Indonesia, Panama, and Costa Rica. These all have places that we would call soft landing.
My definitions about soft landing as a woman perspective, correct?
Yeah, perspective.
I want to arrive in a country that they can understand what I'm talking. In the airport, is it easy for me to get a taxi or any online apps to go to my hotel? That is a safe place for me.
Absolutely.
Right. And also that, is it I know, and I can search all the restaurant and everything by the Google, at least for the food. I want Italian food, I want cheese and fish and chip burger or KFC and McDonald's. At least I can get all this information on the Google map.
Right.
So I would choose mostly is have all these thing on my list. I want easier, less communications with local people, because that's the way that we speak English and the way that you speak English is totally different.
Yeah.
They speak English, but they don't understand what I'm talking.
Right.
So try to reduce this and I learn more, then only I can able to talk to the people.
Right, and most of these people, they're being exposed to a lot of English speakers. That's partly why they're soft landing. Not everyone will speak great English, but at least they'll have some idea. And so that's partly, like she said, that's partly why we're picking them for you.
Yes.
So in Mexico, I picked 3 of them. Oh, and Chung agrees. There's 3. Number 1 is Puerto Morelos in Mexico, which is on the Riviera Maya, which is the Cancun side, but it's a little village. But it's quite a nice place for a soft landing.
Yeah, and also that when you arrive in Cancun airport, it's very easy for you to take a bus or the taxi. It's airport taxi to go to Puerto Morelos. They don't have an Uber over there.
Right.
Yeah, but once you arrive in the town, it's very easy to take a collectivo or a taxi because they all understand English very well because there's a lot of Americans over there.
Plus, there's really just the little village behind the beach and so the taxis just go back and forth.
Yeah.
Everything else is walkable when you're on either side. Another one that there's a lot of expats there, English spoken, a lot of acceptance of Americans who don't know or Canadians, any other English speakers that are first place overseas is Puerto Vallarta in Mexico, which is on the west coast, and it's one of the longest standing expat havens in Mexico.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful place, very charming, and it's another great place. And then I didn't think about it, but Chung mentioned Huatulco.
Yeah, Huatulco is the top list for the retirement people to go there. And mostly there's a women, they are choose to be stay in Huatulco because my personally experience is I met some of people which is they call my name a whole venture and they are the women. They're like, wow. That means that I meet more women's retirement people is in a Huatulco area.
Yeah. And Huatulco is a cute little village. Once you're in Huatulco in the village area, you can walk everywhere. We didn't get in the taxi other than when we went back to the airport. And so it's great for that too.
And Huatulco is a place for the cruise to land. You know?
Right.
Yeah, so that's why it's have a lot of tourists over there. Right.
So next up is the Philippines. In the Philippines, I picked 3 spots and Chung's picked 1. Why don't I start with Makati? I picked Makati and BGC. Those are on Luzon, the Big Island, and they're Filipinos. Almost all of them speak English, and it has all of the food for international foods in the grocery stores, restaurants of all kinds there, and so that's why I picked that.
Yeah, and why the reason I picked only Makati, not BGC or other place? Because Makati is a very beautiful place that you can enjoy a modern building and modern food and also a local food and a very local community over there as well. It's different than BGC. BGC is just a huge, big mall, all the aspect over there. You will not have a taste of the local people life.
Yeah.
That is why I chose only Makati. And Makati also is easy to be go by the Grab. It's like an Uber. It's a Grab that you can get it from the airport to your destination.
Another one I picked in the Philippines is the tech park in Cebu City. And by the way, each one of these, if you click the first link in the notes below the YouTube video, there's a report there that has links to all of the reports on these cities. But it had restaurants and it had grocery stores and everyone speaks English. There's markets, one of the best local markets with all the fruits and vegetables and fish and all that really cheap is there, and at the waterfront, not in the tech park. But then the tech park has nightlife and bars, and you really feel like not much of an adjustment there. It's great for soft landing. And then finally, I picked Boracay. Boracay is very adapted to foreigners, English spoken everywhere, all kinds of food there. So it's a place where you'll quickly feel comfortable when you start living there. And then move on to Portugal. You want to start?
Sure. In Portugal, I would choose Porto because Porto is a very cute little town over there. It's not little town, it's quite big.
Yeah.
And also you have a very charming neighborhood to walk on the riverside and the bridge,
Yeah.
And Portugal is a European country, so it's not that difficult because English people everywhere is a top destination for the American and Canadian and other part of the Europe country people to go for their vacation.
Yeah, like UK. So it's not unusual to run into English speakers there. Food's from all over the world there. It's safe, it's walkable, it's a great spot for a soft landing. And the same goes for me. I also have Lisbon, capital of Portugal. Many of the same qualities, a little bigger, a little more spread out, but also almost as charming. They're both great choices. Next up is Thailand.
Thailand, I would choose Bangkok and Pattaya Jonti. In Bangkok, I would choose the place to be stay is Bang Ra, which is Chinatown area, and Sukhumvit. Sukhumvit, the price of food, everything will be a little bit higher than the Bang Ra area.
Right.
Yeah, and on these two places, you can feel a very modern and a lot of mall. And also in Chinatown, you can eat a lot of different local food as well. And in Chinatown, they have Shangri-La Hotel over there. So the restaurant around there, it was easy to get some good food.
And the beautiful thing about Bangkok, I picked all of Bangkok because Bangkok has all these malls, and the malls, as you get to the top floor, you have local foods. Like we've been going to one called Terminal 21. We're in Bangkok now, and I've been getting my meals for 40 baht. That's a rice serving and then two dishes with it, and I can barely eat it. It's so much, and it's like $1.05. So you could eat for $2 a day. Plus you have modern apartment buildings, condos, you have Grab, nightlife, everything's here, and English is spoken everywhere here in Bangkok. So it's a great choice for that.
Yeah, and also Pattaya Jonti, I think this is good for the single man to go there. It's easy life over there. And you can get the Grab car over there. You can get the Songtel, which is like a public transportation. And over there, everyone speaks English because it's one of the top destinations for people to go for, enjoying their life.
Yeah, Jomtien a great choice. And I also picked Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai is up in the north. It's slightly cooler. It's a more traditional, older village, but it's the digital nomad capital of the world. So there's all kinds of restaurants there, a lot of English spoken, beautiful temples. And it's just a very charming place, fast internet. And so it's a very soft landing also for English speakers. So
the next one is Malaysia. Malaysia, I would recommend some Penang, Georgetown, and Kuala Lumpur. And I would specify on Bangsa, Ampang, and Bukit Bintang area. Bukit Bintang area is a tourist area. It's very tourist area, but you can get everything over there. Same thing. The transportation is very easy to get. You can get 𝐴𝐴𝐶𝐴 app and the Grab app to arrive to any part of the town. Food choices is very easy to get as well.
Most people study English in school in Malaysia. And so it's not unusual everywhere you go to have someone speaking English to you. The most developed infrastructure in Southeast Asia, frankly, it rivals Bangkok in terms of developed infrastructure. And you have restaurants from all over the world. You have larger apartments, feel more American. They're not smaller. Sometimes the Bangkok apartments can feel small. But Malaysia, they're larger, and everything is beautiful and safe and walkable. So it'll feel a little bit, quite comfortable for a soft landing in Kuala Lumpur. And all three of the neighborhoods Chung is recommending. I love those two. They're great choices. And then the same with me for Georgetown, Penang, great city. And it's a very charming, walkable city, and as are the neighborhoods in Kuala Lumpur, Chung's recommending.
And also you can get a Michelin-star restaurant in Malaysia and Thailand as well. It's so easy to get. Bangkok is really good on the food.
So next up, Guatemala.
Guatemala, why we will choose Guatemala? Guatemala is very easy to go. And the place that we choose is Antigua. You can get the Uber from the airport direct to reach to the Antigua.
And Antigua was the Spanish capital of Central America. And so it's very beautiful old cathedrals and cobblestone streets and gorgeous Spanish haciendas and restaurants. And there's a bunch of expats from all over the world that live there. It's quite a soft landing, and it's a beautiful place. And so we both feel very comfortable there, and we are recommending it for a soft landing.
Yeah, and also in Antigua, the town, that every corner they have CCTV as well. That's what I find out the thing. And yeah, like they say, they have a lot of the international people, especially also for digital nomads and also young people, a lot of hostels. So they know that those people, you know, over there, so they have a good food as well.
Next up would be Indonesia, the island of Bali, and we both pick Ubud and Uluwatu.
Yes, Uluwatu is a beach area, and there is a more beautiful beach and the water, and also it's more aspect over there. But the cost to live there is not that really cheap.
That's right. That's right.
But Ubud is a very nice and very have a very calm, positive energy over there because it's high in the mountain a little bit with all the green, and the air is much more better.
And it has English-speaking expats there and locals, and it has a very international feel to it with international expats that live in Ubud, and it has traditional Balinese, so you're getting a flavor of the local culture, temples, and it's just really a charming place. And you have the rice paddies outside of the city, and waterfalls, and the beaches. It's hard to beat Ubud for a soft landing.
And also you can get the taxi, which is a Grab or airport taxi direct to go Ubud or Uluwatu, and they all can speak English. They understand where you want to go. You just give them your hotel name, they know. A hotel can send a transportation. Because
Australians have been going there forever, and so they've learned to speak English, the locals have. And so it's a great soft landing. Next up in Panama is a town called Boquete.
Yeah, Boquete is also high in the mountains. And it's a little bit small, but it's a lot of the expats living there. And the local, they all understand English well.
Yeah, and there's a multitude of restaurants. There's even like a craft beer
Yes.
manufacturer there with a beer garden, and there's live music, and there's dancing. And the most amazing thing about Boquete is it's a little village surrounded by these huge mountains, and there's all these great hiking paths, and expats form these little clubs, and they hike up into the mountain, and there's waterfalls, and there's even a tree that's like 1,000 years old on one of the paths.
And the food also is good over there.
Very good food.
Very good food.
Very good food. So
good food is mean that they have international food like pizza.
Yeah, pizza, all of it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great place for food. And they, again, the grocery stores have a lot of the foods you'll recognize from home. So you can even buy foods, take them home and cook them. And then finally, Costa Rica. Costa Rica is not generally a place I recommend for long-term living. There's a town called Tamarindo, which is great for soft landing because it's been Canadianized and Americanized and Europeanized for, it seems like 40 years now. And so you have restaurants, you have places to stay that are very Western, you have beaches and people and music and nightlife. And so it's a very kind of sexy beach place, but it's expensive.
Yeah, and also that when we arrived in Tamarindo, I was like, am I in any country, who speak very well English?
Yeah.
Or I'm in the Costa Rica, which is Latin America country,
Yeah.
Because the feeling for me is like very Americanized, all the music they play, the food, everything.
Right. And Costa Rica is, in some respects, is not as popular as it used to be because it just keeps getting more and more expensive. But if you plan on going to a Hispanic-speaking country eventually, and you want a soft landing first, go to Tamarindo for a month or two, and then you could go to other parts of Latin America, and it'll feel a little easier than if you try to go to one of the tougher ones or the hard landing places to go. So that's our recommendations for soft landings. But again, don't limit yourself to these. Once you have your living overseas legs under you, start to venture about and find a place that is more culturally diverse from your home country so you can really experience what the world's about. Thanks for watching the video.
Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.
And make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Watch this video up here that will tell you the top 15 places to retire in the entire world for 2023, not just soft landings. Bye-bye. If you would like to learn how I fired my boss and traveled the world for 16 years and how I pay for things, grab a free copy of my ebook.